And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Words I Choose to Live By here on Amazon Live. I'm Cyrus Webb, but joined today by Mary Ellen Seguin, Melissa Banks, and Darius Ewing. Glad you all could be with us for today's program. Today's message is coming from my book. I'll go ahead and highlight it on the Amazon Live side in our carousel. It's Words I Choose to Live By. You guys can see it there. Before we get into today's message, though, how's everybody doing?
Doing wonderful.
Doing great.
Good deal. Good deal. We do want to welcome those that are tuning in outside of Amazon as well. Those joining us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on LinkedIn and YouTube. Glad you all could be with us. For those tuning in on the Amazon Live side, a couple of things I want to bring to your attention. First of all, if you are new to us here on Amazon Live, welcome to the show. You'll see there's a follow button either in this corner or down below. Feel free to be able to click on that to stay connected with all of our programming here 7 days a week on Amazon Live. Also, the chat is open. So feel free if you have any questions or comments about today's program. We would love to hear from you. Make sure you guys put those in the chat. Today's message is coming from week 13 in my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and it's Set Your Mind Free. There it says, when you place limitations on your mind, you give yourself nowhere to go. Free yourself of what seems impossible, and there's absolutely nothing you won't be able to accomplish. Hello to you, Ellen, joining us on the Facebook side. So I want to tell you guys the story behind this message today. So this message actually came to me. I remember the year. It shows you how old I'm getting. You know you're old when you remember the year of things. But 2006, I was having a conversation with my friend Stephanie Mitchell. I was literally in the same room that I'm in right now in my home. That's now my office. And we were talking about people and what they weren't achieving. This was 2006. Okay. I'd only been doing radio at the time for 3 years. And she said something to me that stuck. And I wrote it down, as all nerds do. When you hear something, you write it down. She said to me, when you limit your mind, you limit yourself. And I thought that was so profound to me. And even today, it's such a powerful statement. And that's where this message comes from today, because I have definitely learned that so many people do not do things, do not become things because of the limitations, the lock they put on their minds. And so that's why I wanted to include this message at the start of week 13, because it is so important for us if we're going to do anything, especially if it's something that has not been done before in our family or in our neighborhood, our community, or in our state. You have to be able to open yourself up to it. Melissa, I want to start with you on this. How important has it been for you to not place limitations on yourself?
Well, I think that is critical. I can remember a time that you can talk yourself out of what you want. So if you see something that you want to do or see someone else doing something that you have a desire to do, the next conversation determines what happens. So if your next conversation is everything you don't have, if it's I didn't come from the right family, I don't have the money, if that's the conversation that comes behind the thought of what you want to do, you will never do it, because that thought will stop you there. Later in the week, one of my morning motivations is, what is the story you telling yourself in your head? Because it determines your life. I believe that from my core. And that's what changed for me. I stopped focusing on the way I grew up, or the years of abuse that I was told I wouldn't amount to anything, that I didn't have anything. When I stopped focusing on that part of my story and leaning into the part of my story that says I have everything within me to do exactly what I want to do and more than I can imagine, I start leaning into my faith that says that all things are possible for me. So when that becomes your conversation, you have no boundaries. You can be unstoppable at that point. You've heard me say a million times, I believe in it all starts here. And it's what you're saying here, it's what you believe, and then it's what you act like.
Yeah, such a great point. And I think for our audience, I want to say for those joining us on the Amazon Live side, what you will notice with our co-hosts, even though the message is coming from my book, as the co-hosts are speaking, all of them have books available on Amazon. So you'll notice on the Amazon Live side, we actually are highlighting their books as they're talking. So right now we have Melissa's book being highlighted. Now we're about to highlight one of Mary Ellen's books that she has. Mary Ellen, I want to ask you the similar question. How important has it been for you not to place those limitations on yourself?
Well, as you know, Cyrus, I grew up with tons of limitations, and it all starts in the mind. You always want to allow your mind to expand and grow. And a lot of time you have to be careful, because a lot of times I see my mind almost as a wild horse, running through the woods. And that wild horse can have negative thoughts and criticisms and can keep you stuck. Or when you tame that horse, it can bring you positive emotions. It can bring you positive thoughts. It can bring you positive opportunities to expand your thoughts. When you wake up in the morning, what is the first thought you have? Are you grateful? Are you appreciative? Do you thank God for another day? Do you take the opportunity every day to do one step that day towards your dream or your goal? Because you have to be quiet with your mind. That is another key point. Be quiet with your mind and allow God to speak to you, because you want to expand your mind. You never want to limit your mind, yet you want to be careful what thoughts you bring into your mind. And if you find a negative thought coming in there, visualize pushing it out with a positive one and keep that positive one going, because never limit your mind, and always be careful of what you put into your mind, because what you put into your mind is what you focus on expands, what you think about happens, is where you're going to go. So never limit your mind, and always actually look at why did that thought come into my mind right now? I can do that. Why did that negative thought come in? And push it out and tell yourself, I can do it. I can be anything.
Yeah. And I think that is so important. And it's not, though, easy, though, right? It's not easy for us to do. We're going to get more into that. I was just highlighting Mary Ellen's book, Truth Lives, there. I'm going to go to you, Darius, with the same question. How important has it been for you not to place those limitations on yourself?
Man, it's been very important. Very important. I was scrolling through my book, and it's ironic that we placed on day one, says it says, note to self, some of your attachments are preventing advancement, cut season. We attach ourselves to things that we shouldn't, as in speech, as in the way we think, because a lot of times we get in situations where we want to be free, but we take advice from somebody or something that we should have been cut off. If that makes sense. We kept flirting with it. They did this, or they did this, or this happened, and we never quite let it go, and it quite lingered and festered. But then we forgot about what they did to us the last time, and we went right back to them and got the poisonous treatment.
Yeah.
But we created that because that's the way we conditioned our mind. So for me, I had to just cut off things that were negative. Any negative thoughts, anything. I stopped watching the news.
Yeah.
I stopped watching the news because for me, it was just getting depressing. Every time you cut it on, you would see war, coronavirus. I mean, who wants to see that every day? So that for me, that was my way of saying, okay, let me get rid of those things that are gates. If it's something that I see that's negative, I cut it off. If it's something that I hear that's negative, I cut it off. You can't really set your mind free with bombarding it with other stuff continuously all the time. When you bombard yourself with trash, you become that. You become that. You become what you eat. You become what you take in. So in order for me to alleviate that, I just started hey, snip, just grab my scissors, and anything that don't need to be there just got to go.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, Darius, and I'm going to go back around the table here, because there are some people who are big dreamers, right? So I want us to also be realistic here too, right? Because, a lot of times there's nothing wrong with dreaming big, but how do you then be able to frame what you say you want, and then what it takes to be able to get it, Darius? Because again, for people who may say, you know what, I don't care if people say that I can't be an astronaut. I know I can be an astronaut. What do you say to those people about the importance of then, if that's where they want to go, the importance of doing what it takes to get there?
Well, you really just took my answer out of my mouth. You have to, if it's the dream, you have to do the work. Like, it's not gonna come. I had a biology teacher when I was in junior high. She used to say, students, you're not gonna get it by osmosis. I said, I used to ask, what? She said it every day. I was like, what is that? You can't sleep on top of your book and get the answers. Yeah. So if you want to get the answers, you have to do the work. You have to put the work in. If you want to be an astronaut, start thinking, okay, am I good at math and science? Am I good at these things? Whatever you set out to be, start making a plan. Like Melissa, I mean, get your list, jot it down, write it down, because if you don't, I mean, you're not gonna know where you're going. A lot of people say, well, I want to be this, I have dreams of being this, I have dreams of becoming this, but they don't know the underwork that it takes to get there.
Right.
And it takes a lot of work. Just because they are a doctor, I mean, it takes, oh Lord, it takes a lot, because they have to break down in the specialties to where they want to go, or which direction they want to go in. So in life, you know, you can have dreams. My dream was never to be a motivational speaker. That's just my purpose. And so since purpose came with it, I just had to start taking like public speaking classes. I had to start reading more philosophy books. I had to start just reading more and diving deep more into what I am purposed and called to do. So if that's the dream, you have to do the work, because number one, people are going to give you the tools, but you have to pick them up and use them.
Yeah. So true. Ellen says, it's so true. You can't sleep on your book and get the answer. That is so true, Ellen. And it's such a great point. Thank you so much for bringing that out, Darius. Mary Ellen, I want to ask you a similar question. You know, we're talking about not placing limitations on yourself, but talk to us about for yourself, as you have set goals for yourself, the importance of then working toward those goals.
Well, for me, of course, I was a middle school teacher for about 15 years, and I always taught in the inner city, which I didn't ask for that, but I just loved it. I loved teaching 7th and 8th grade. And so after I finished that, I really thought I was pretty much done, because that was my career. And then I knew I had a book to write, and I thought it was about education, and I struggled with that. And when you struggle with anything, that means that you're not doing the right thing. So I started writing these inspirations, these truths of the day, from healing words, the little vignettes. And then that grew to the truths of the day. And then I thought, well, okay, I can do a video, you know, now I have Miracles of Mary Ellen that I did this morning. And at first I didn't want to do that. And I thought, well, that can't be that much harder than standing in front of the 8th grade middle school class all day. Because, you know, I didn't sit at my desk. I walked around the classroom and I interacted with the kids. And I was a very hands-on teacher. I mean, hands-on with activities and things to get them motivated and get them going, and to show them that they could be anything. And if you have a big dream, just start, just begin, you know, and maybe your dream won't be fulfilled to be an astronaut, but maybe you could do something in the space program. Maybe you can go down to the space camp and work, or possibly it'll lead you in another direction. But just begin and go forward with every opportunity God puts in front of you.
Yeah, love that. Love that. Melissa, I want to ask you just a slight variation on that, because I think, you know, regardless of what that dream may be or what that vision may be, you know, it is, as I mentioned earlier, if people have never, I was sharing with a friend of mine today, you know, I look at what I've been able to do, and there were no authors in my family. There were no artists in my family. You know, there weren't any people crazy enough to think they could make a living doing radio or broadcasting. But I still felt as though that was my direction. How do you not allow the limitations around you to stop you from believing in what you can do?
Well, I think it goes back to what we've been talking about here all along, is your mindset. See, in my family, there were no business owners in my family. We grew up in a small area in Mississippi. And of course, and I talk about this now, I talk about the people who sold candy out of their house, or who sold Cool Pops to the kids in the street, but we never really looked at them as business owners. So we never thought of them in that way. So here I come along. I never dreamed of being a business owner. That was not something that I grew up around. That's not something that I knew. That was something that I have no doubt God placed in me. But once he placed it in me, it's been a journey. It hasn't been easy. I don't ever want to sit here and act like it was an easy journey to go from not thinking about it at all, because it was very foreign to me, to being where I am now. I didn't dream where I am now. That came with growth. But the key is being able to focus and not allow those outside voices to get into your head. Because once they get into your head, then you cannot achieve dreams that you set for yourself. You can't keep them out. So you have to manage your environment. I talk all the time. When I say manage your environment, that includes your family. You can be sitting around a family gathering, and that person in the family that just don't get it. You still just the Melissa you were yesterday. You're not the Melissa that's been building a business for 20 years and an expert in some arenas. They don't look at you that way. You still that person you were yesterday, and something will slip in there that'll hit you right here. If you hold on to it, then it's going to stop you in your tracks. So you have to just get really good. And that's something I had to do is continue to have to do is get really good of letting stuff come in and go out. If you let it come in and stick in there, it will grow and it will fester and it will change every single thing that's supposed to happen to you. I believe as long as you manage your environment, that includes social media as well. I have gotten really good at the unfollow, the hide post, the block. Those are weapons. You use those weapons, and I get really good at using them because what shows up on my timeline, what I see is getting into my spirit, and it needs to be in line with my spirit. That's called guarding your peace, guarding your space. And as long as you do that, you can keep going. You can achieve the dreams that you didn't even know the dream. You've heard me say before, Cyrus, I didn't even know to dream that. See, when I started my business, I thought I was going to sell flower arrangements. So I've told this story before. It went from selling flower arrangements to everything you see that I do now. So I didn't know to dream this big, but I just never stopped dreaming. And I never stopped working toward that dream. But I don't care how much you're willing to work. I don't care how big your dream is. If you're not right in here, if your thoughts are not right, you will not be able to move to the next step and the next step and the next step to get you to where you want to be.
Love that. And you're so right, Melissa. Those weapons are so much better than the other ones because that way you don't have to worry about the police showing up at your house and
Exactly.
and being questioned. Not that I know anything about that. I'm just that's right. Use the unfollow and the blocking because those weapons are better. They're very much better. Again, you all are watching Cyrus Webb Presents Word That Choose to Live By here on Amazon Live. We're talking about this book right here, Word That Choose to Live By. And this message is from week number 13, Set Your Mind Free. So, Melissa, we have you there. What would you say to our audience then about the importance of not putting limitations on themselves?
You can go as far as you can believe. I would suggest that you go get really good at motivating yourself, get really good at believing in yourself, regardless of what people are saying, what people are telling you, what words you're seeing, what you're reading. Focus on you, focus on what you believe, and say those things to yourself. If you can say it to yourself and believe it in your heart, then you go do the work and you can achieve your dreams. It all begins with you and your mind, your thoughts, and what you believe about yourself.
Yeah, such a great point for sure. Mary Ellen, what about you? What would you say to our audience about the importance of not putting those limitations on themselves?
Well, of course, never put limitations on yourself and never allow others to talk you out of your limitations. And I think especially family members, because they see you as you were, not as you are after you've done the work. You know, they keep seeing you like they keep seeing me as that little kid that was always sick all the time. They don't see me as the person that I am today, especially since a lot of them are not on social media. So allow yourself to grow and be and use the power of your mind and your thoughts and ask yourself, okay, what can I do next? What could I add to my business? What else could I do? Who else could I inspire? Who else could I motivate? And first of all, when you get up every morning, look at the thoughts you're thinking, motivate yourself, be grateful, have enthusiasm, and celebrate yourself as you go on and just celebrate life and love yourself and allow your mind to just lead you wherever it wants to lead you.
Love that. Such a great thought. And Darius, same thing for you. What would you say to people about the importance of not putting limitations on themselves?
Well, you are your own limit. Whatever you want to create, whatever you want to be in life, you have the power, all the power to do it. If you had the power to get up this morning, open your eyes and put on your clothes and get up and go to work and do all of that, you have the power. God has given you the power to create and be all that you can be and all that you have dreamed of. The tools are out there to use. You just have to pick them up and fix your mindset. And like Melissa and Mary Ellen has said, you have to learn how to speak to yourself and speak life into yourself. Stop waiting for other folks to do it, because a lot of people don't want to see you go farther than they are anyway.
Right.
So I'm not even seeking their validation. If it's something that you want, go get it. It's just that simple. If you dreamed about it and you want it bad enough, go get it.
Love that. Such a great message. Luana says, replying to Ellen earlier, I love her book, talking about your book, Mary Ellen, Truth, Taking Responsibility, Unleashes True Healing. She is a treasure. We appreciate you for watching, Luana. And Luana also says, Darius, about what you just mentioned, if we can get it pulled up there on the screen. We have the power. The key is we have to believe it and own it. Speak life to yourself. Such a great point. And it's such a great reminder, I think, for all of us as we're kind of looking at ourselves. And again, it doesn't mean there's not work involved, but definitely do not put those limitations on yourself, because you never know what you can achieve. Again, today's message has been coming from week number 13 from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. You guys can see it there. It's available in print and the Kindle edition on Amazon. So make sure you guys get your own copy. Since we have you there front and center, Darius, go ahead and let them know how to stay connected with you and get your book.
Well, you can stay connected with me on social media, Instagram, Mr. Ewing 1914, Facebook, Darius Ewing, Darius L. Ewing, and you can purchase the book on Amazon. And it is about to go on sale, so hey, check it out.
There you go. There you go. And Mary Ellen, what about you? How can they stay connected and get your book?
Well, they can always stay connected with me through askmaryellen.com. And one thing I want to tell everybody is don't forget to do your mirror work. Get up in the morning and go into that mirror and say, good morning, so-and-so, I love you. What positive thoughts can we put into your mind today? What can we do today to go forward? And connect with me through askmaryellen.com with my Miracles with Mary Ellen moment on there today. There are 5 pages of inspirational blogs. And I put my truth of the day all over social media. So stay connected with me there.
All right. So make sure you guys are definitely doing that. And we have her newest book, Truth Lives. We have it highlighted there in the carousel. I'm going to move on to Melissa. Melissa, what would you say to our audience about the importance of not put those limitations on themselves, but also let them know how to stay connected with you?
I would say that your only limit is you. If you don't limit yourself, you can be unstoppable. So believe in yourself, do the work, and you will be able to achieve your dreams. You can stay connected with us through themelissabanks.com. On there, you can get our book, Dream by Design with Melissa Banks. It's a link that sends you right to Amazon to purchase that book. You can also listen to some motivational inspiration from our guest on our show, Dream by Design with Melissa Banks. These women share their journeys. They share some wonderful tips on how to push through even when it doesn't look good. Get the inspiration you need to go for your dream. All of our links are right there at themelissabanks.com.
All right. I appreciate you all. And Luana, I appreciate the kind words. Luana says everyone needs to subscribe to this show. I'll continue to share and promote. Appreciate that, Luana. We appreciate that. And I second that notion, actually. So if you guys are joining us on Amazon Live and you have not done so already, make sure you guys give us a follow. The follow button will be either here in this corner or down below. Make sure you click on that. Also, all of the books from our co-hosts are available there on Amazon. So definitely make sure you guys do be able to get your own copies of those. And it's available not only, of course, while we're live, but also the replay as well. Also, I want to let you guys know that today's program is being powered by ByteCool. Is the laptop you guys see me using here. It's one of those things I think that is not only affordable, but also durable as well. I love the fact that with mine, you're able to easily be able to navigate online. It is great for streaming. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it in the carousel here on Amazon. It's on sale right now for $259. So it's $259 right now. So a really great deal. Hey, Terry, thank you so much for joining us on the Facebook side there as well. But again, if you're looking for a computer that's great for streaming, for being able to do a lot of Zoom, if you're doing a lot of hybrid meetings, that kind of thing, this one has definitely been great for me. Also, want to let you guys know here on the side, you'll notice I have my desk converter here. If you guys are like me and you try to be able to do some of your work standing up, it's one of the things that's great. So you're not always sitting in one place. It's on sale right now for an unbelievable price, $29. When I got this one, it was $79. And you guys can now be able to get this one for $29. It's a great deal on this one. I really like it because you're able to adjust it according to your height. I'm not as tall as a lot of people. I am in my head, but maybe not physically. So I have it set on one of the lower heights here. But if you do need it to be taller, you can be able to adjust it for yourself. Also, you'll notice here has a place for your phone and tablet. You can see it here. So it's a really great value. Again, $29. When I got mine, again, it was $79. So you're saving $50 on this right now on Amazon. I don't know how long that special is going on, but it definitely is something to keep in mind. Again, we thank you all for watching this week's episode of Words I Choose to Live By. We'll be back with you guys next week for our program. Until then, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.